Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hey guys.
Yeah, everyone say hi.
Hi.
What's
Hi,
up,
everyone.
people? Hi.
Welcome back.
Yes.
I'm here today with all of my best friends.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
introduce yourself.
Hi guys. My name is Grace Pelly.
And my
Period.
name is Teal Walters.
Period.
Hi guys, I'm Ella Stubbs.
Awesome. These are all my friends, and they're here with me today.
We love
And
Tammy.
we're going to be having a special talk
Special
about
talk time.
mental health. Yay!
Yay! Something we can all dabble in.
Yeah,
Yes.
so who wants to get us started?
I think we all have a lot to say about it.
Me too. I think we all struggle personally from a lot of
Mental
mental health
health.
issues.
Yeah.
There's
in
a lot of
addition to knowing
different-
people.
Yeah.
Different types.
There's a lot of different categories.
There are.
So let's pick one to talk about because that's a really broad thing, mental health.
Well, I think
Maybe like
especially during COVID.
COVID
like,
specific,
yeah.
Depression.
being
Yes.
isolated.
Yeah.
Loneliness is a thing. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
even if like you don't like you're not really alone, just like
Feeling
feeling it is like a whole different story.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
it's hard to like reassure yourself you're not.
I think it's weird to look at other people with depression because it looks so much different from what you would originally picture it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not always the emo, depressed teen. Sometimes it is, but, you know, other times it could just be the person who lives down the street or your neighbor
Mm-hmm.
who's always really kind to you and says hi, but they're terminally depressed, as like I like to say it.
Yeah.
I think especially through social media, you never really know. Like, you see all these people having like a great time and having, you know, what seems like a perfect life, and a lot of times that's not the reality.
It's not real.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like a highlight reel.
Yeah.
You know, you only
That's
see the
so
highlights,
true.
and it's so toxic to see everyone's highlights. But like,
And be sitting alone.
be
like,
sitting alone in your room. But if you think about it, like that's what everyone else is thinking too. But no
Exactly.
one talks about it.
And like the
Yeah.
things they post, that's just the one time when they're not sitting in their room.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then that makes you feel like they're constantly like that, but they're not.
It's the
Like
one time they got out of their sweatpants
Exactly.
to go just take
and
a
they took a
picture.
picture of it because that's the one time that like
Mhm.
they're out.
And the reason why like there's so much like the mental health and like depression rates like this like year or not even this year. I mean actually this year a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's all because it's a whole comparison game and like especially during like quarantine that's all we did was like compare ourselves. At least like with music and stuff like that's all I do, you know.
Is
Is
compare.
compare.
And especially like
Mhm.
streams and
Yeah.
monthly listeners, like numbers are so toxic.
Mhm.
For sure.
Likes and stuff like
Yeah, like some. Yeah.
Even
It's
just
so
grades
toxic.
as college students, like you're constantly comparing yourself to other
Mhm.
students and how you can push yourself, and sometimes it can get toxic to the point.
yeah.
Mhm.
You can do a
Where you're
whole
not-
thing on comparison really.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I kind of did on one of mine already.
Oh.
I like covered likes and like how toxic the word like is
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
how toxic just like likes in general are like on Instagram and things like that, and how being liked is so important to people, but like you don't like everyone either. So why does
Yeah.
everyone have to like you?
Mhm.
And that's just like a big block that a lot of people have to figure out. So I did a whole one on that already.
Yeah.
I think it's a problem for me where like I can have, you know, a bunch of people love me, but then one person doesn't like me and I have tunnel vision. And then
Exactly.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with me? Like, why don't they like me?
But that's the thing is like, do you like every single person that you meet? No.
Yeah.
So why does every single person that meets you have to like you in order for you to feel okay?
Yeah.
Because you don't like everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's like really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
At the end of the day, though, you're the one who has to live with yourself.
You need
so-
to like yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure, and I think that's definitely a journey in its own.
So what would y'all suggest doing, like, to make you love yourself? If, like, I personally struggle with that, so what would be your suggestions?
I think just find one thing, fixate on that, and then just build yourself around that one frame of mind that you already like about yourself,
mhm.
and then just create your own picture of how you want to be, how you want other people to perceive you, and then eventually you will become that. It's just kind
Yeah.
of
And just like constant reinforcement, like if you tell yourself like every morning you wake up like
you're
I love
beautiful.
I
myself.
love myself, I'm great, I'm a great singer, I'm a great
Yeah.
friend, I'm a
Or
great
write it down in a journal. Like, do you
daughter.
journal?
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Good.
I
Like-
used to wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and just say like 5 things I liked about myself
Mhm.
whenever I had a lot of issues
Mhm.
Yeah,
with self-love, and it really did help.
yeah.
And also like
Mhm.
something else is like just being able to sit and be alone with yourself and feel comfortable.
And be okay,
With
like,
that.
by yourself.
Yeah.
And that could take a lot of time. Like, I still, like, need to work on that, and, like, everyone needs to work on
That's really
loving
hard.
themselves.
Being
Yeah.
alone is, like, really hard.
Yeah. But, like, just finding things that, like, anything, like, something that sparks something inside of you that,
Makes you feel good.
you know, and even, like, devoting, like, a week, like, focusing on something that you think you like, that brings you joy, like, finding things that bring you joy and just doing them all the time, like, at certain parts of your day can just, like, become a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a thing that if you do something every day for 30 days, it turns into a habit. So that's
Yeah,
another way
that's
to
true.
self.
And I've seen you've, like, been going to the gym a lot.
Yeah.
And, like, that's something that I, like, that makes me love myself is that, like, I work out every day and then I look at myself in the mirror and then I, like, love myself. Not
Yeah.
because I look different, but just because I feel good. Like, after
Yeah.
working out, you feel really
you
good.
put in the work.
And you put in the work.
First.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you put yourself first. So, like, that makes me feel good about myself. And then, like, working on music and then getting to listen back to it and hear, like, how proud you are of yourself.
Yeah, that's a big
That
thing.
makes you feel, like, at least for me, and I bet for, like, you too,
Yeah.
it makes you feel, like, really good.
Yeah. At least for me, like, having products to listen, like, or not even listen to, just, like,
To look back
having
on.
finished products of anything for me is something that makes me love myself.
Because you can be proud of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
hard to do that, like,
Yeah.
without those things.
Like, it's hard to, like, just be walking one day and be like, oh, I love
I'm
myself.
proud of
I'm
myself.
proud.
Yeah, that's so true.
But,
We should talk more about being alone
yeah.
and, like, being lonely.
Yeah.
Because I know something that I struggle with a lot. Not really that much right now. I've been doing pretty good with it, but, like, being by myself. And not, like, I could be in here alone, but I would have the TV on because I just don't like being, like, alone.
Mm-hmm.
I would just always have the TV playing, like, 24/7. Even while I sleep at night, like, I have the TV on because I, like, never want to be alone. Because when I'm alone, then that lets me, like, think thoughts that, like,
Yeah.
I don't have to think if I'm listening to the TV in the background.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't been like that for a while because, like, I'm happy and I love myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that's something that's really hard, like, being
I
alone.
think that being alone in the quiet is sometimes one of the loudest parts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
of
That's
life.
why I would, like, turn a TV on to, like, drown it out. It's, like,
For sure. Like, when my dad passed away, like, the only thing that I could really do to, like, let myself rest with all my emotions, because I just really wanted to feel everything in, like, the full breadth, so I didn't have to worry about it later in life.
That's
that
good.
I just sat alone in my room, and I just felt everything. I had a box of tissues.
That's
and
really
I just
hard.
got through it.
That's hard, but
But that's
and-
really good for you.
Yeah, and I would, you know, pray and all that. I would read my Bible. And for me, that's something that really helped me
Good.
kind of push through the quiet and the silence, and it in turn made me stronger and
And helps you relax and, like, feel
And
more
have
at
something to
peace.
cling
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Strong. Yeah.
yeah.
for sure it gives me purpose
Mm-hmm.
and like
Yeah.
a hope.
That's
Yeah.
really good.
I was, like, just gonna say something, like, kind of like that. Like, sometimes if I do feel a lot of emotions, or, like, if I'm overwhelmed or, like, irritable or anything, like, I need sometimes to sit in my emotions and let it all get
Just
out.
go, like,
Even
go
if
away.
yeah, even if I
Yes.
have, like, really bad, like, just depressed days, like, sometimes I'll wake up and, like, why do I feel like shit? Like, wow, this is just a bad day. But, like, I'll just get up and take a little bit more time in the morning and just let myself know that it's there, it's existent, those feelings.
Yeah.
But if you ignore it, then they're just gonna kind of, like, be over your head the whole day, and you're never gonna,
They're
like,
in the back of
confront
your
them.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
had a therapist tell me that if you ever are feeling sad, but sometimes the sadness can, like, take over you, you should just set a timer for 5 minutes and just let it all out and let it consume you.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that 5 minutes, you take your life back, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, grief and sadness are there. It's a part of life, but you can't let them control you, and you have to take your life back no matter how hard the situation is.
That's really true. Yeah.
I know for me, like, personally, my therapist has been repeatedly telling me that, like, I'll tear up, but I won't let myself cry, and she'll be like, I see a lot
Why
of
are you cr-
emotion
yeah.
hiding behind there, which,
Yeah.
you know, then I, like, try to, like, shrivel my face.
And you're like,
and-
no.
Get back in there.
Especially because you don't want to, like, cry in front of your therapist. But, like,
Yeah.
it's therapy, so, like, you're supposed
You're
to.
supposed to let it out.
But I've, like, I don't know, I have had a hard time crying lately, but I think anyone who has cried knows that crying in the shower, that, like,
I just
Oh.
I
that's
don't
the
like
best
crying anymore. Like, it just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just I don't
me
like
too.
my face being wet. I feel like that was such a
Oh.
cruel joke, like when I'm sad, the last thing I want to worry about is like my face being wet. I don't know.
Remember you told
Wait,
me
what?
that. Yeah, you told me
It's
that.
weird.
I said you like
What?
a bunch of face stuff because you're like, my face is so
It's
puffy.
so puffy. And
Oh.
it's just annoying.
See, I don't like crying anymore. Like, I've been at like a point where like
Yeah.
I don't want to be sad, so I force myself not to think about sad things because I don't want to be sad because being sad hurts really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I've,
Yeah.
I've
But
learned how to be
you have to
sad
be sad.
and work through my emotions without crying,
Okay, that's
which is weird.
different.
Yeah. It's more of like a numb feeling.
I think once you've cried so much, you know what that feels like to be sad,
And you don't
can
wanna-
still process
yeah.
it
Yeah.
without like viscerally experiencing it, which is good to still experience it and cry and get it all out.
hmm
But at the end of the day, like, I don't want to keep having to wash my pillowcase.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Or like
Yeah.
my mom would tell me because she would ask me about things and like I would be like I don't want to talk about it because like I know it would make me sad
Yeah.
and I would rather just not talk about it than go through the pain of talking about it.
But then it stays inside of you.
Exactly, and she's like, that's
Yeah.
not healthy for you to not be sad. But like, I don't want to be sad because being sad hurts really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But once you are sad and like get it out of the way, then it's not bad anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Just
hard
like-
though, like
Life is literally too short to waste your time on like fleeting emotions and just like the momentary. Like, I think if you just sit with yourself and fully realize who you are, why you know, are, and just let yourself wrestle with every emotion you're feeling, it ends up helping you so much more later. Because then you can move on with your life, you can take back control,
Yeah.
and you can become better. But don't let your emotions and your stuff control you.
But also, like, I've, like, struggled a lot with, like, mental health and, like, depression, especially, like, quarantine. Like, I
For
never
sure.
have experienced it that bad. And what I realized is that a lot of it, you know, was situational, but, like, a lot of it could be chemical. And, like,
Oh,
some people are just born with, like, wires in their brain that are just not right. And,
Yeah, like they said on
yes.
Euphoria, like
yeah,
some people are just
exactly. Like,
the wires cross the wrong way.
Exactly.
Definitely, and there
Yeah.
there is a biological component with that. I mean, just coming from
like, just
someone-
from your genes, like, or,
for sure.
you know.
And I think it's even harder too, like when it's a chemical thing, because it's almost like there's not something to work through. It's just something to
Exactly.
constantly fight. You know?
Yeah, and it's
You
gonna
have
be
to-
there forever.
You have to learn how to live around it, if that makes
or
sense.
live with it,
Yeah.
and like not let it control you.
Yeah.
And don't let that define you, because that's something I struggled with, was like, oh, like, I'm just the way I am because, like, of
That's just how it
that's
happened.
just how I am.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
I would get down on myself and be like, oh, I'm better than this. Like, I shouldn't be feeling like this. Like, I can do it. Like, I can get over it. But, like, if you beat yourself up, you're just gonna make it, you know, you're gonna be your
Harder.
own worst enemy, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's something. So I've been struggling about, like, I felt the sadness, but I got stuck in it.
Mm.
Like,
And you can't get out of
and
it.
I can't get out. And it's like it's kind of ties into self-love, where like there can be a million positive things around me, but it's like if I don't feel good with myself, and that's where it's just been like the whole world will be bitter in my eyes because of like where I am. And like that's something I've been struggling with, which I think getting back to school and having something to work towards and
to focus on.
and to keep me busy, I think that'll be really good. Because for me, even though I wish like when I'm really down it would be more like I would have more creative energy, I get to points where like I can't write because
Oh,
I
no,
don't
me
have any.
too.
Yeah, and
Like,
then,
there's no creativity.
right, and then I don't have the outlet that I
Mhm.
need
Yeah.
to. So I think school is going to be really good.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because it'll already put you in the mindset of working. So,
Right.
like, after
Exactly.
you're just gonna be, like, already in the mindset.
Yeah.
It's so hard to start being creative or getting your mind working when you don't have, like, the actual
it's good to like
incentive.
put your focus into like an incentive. Like
Yeah.
you're actually like motivated to do something because you have peers doing the same thing.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, I want to like show them what I'm doing. I want to, impress people.
yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
And you're held accountable. If you
Yeah.
don't do it, your grade's gonna
Yeah.
fall because of that.
for sure.
Yeah, I think that's why quarantine was like hard or like it seemed like a vacation at first when quarantine first happened because we were like, oh, we get a
It kinda
break.
did.
Break.
I remember
It was like an
that.
extended break, but then when we didn't have anything to do for months and months and months, that's like so hard to not have anything that you absolutely have to do. It's just like if you want to do something, you could, or like you could write a song, but like you don't have to.
And
but
a lot
like
of things were closed. Anyway.
everything was closed, so we're
Yeah.
trapped alone inside, and like we have nothing to work towards. So I think that was like really
And, like, we're all probably still recovering from it. It's, like, because it's, like, we're not, I mean, we're, I guess, still in the pandemic quarantine phase.
It's different
but
now.
it's not like the lockdown it was.
Yeah.
But like,
I think we're mostly recovering from the wake of it, like just everything
yeah,
that happened.
exactly. Yeah.
And learning how to make this our new normal still.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
it's been months, I think it's still just trying to figure out how to make this feel normal. And like even today on the news was crazy, and like the news is crazy every day now because of this.
I feel like we've just lost so much of humanity this past year.
Mhm.
Just,
Yeah.
I mean, from politics, from
And that had a
mean,
lot to do with
just
mental health
humans
too. Yeah, just the state of
especially.
the world.
I mean,
yeah.
What's sad is like I would hope that a pandemic where people are dying would bring people together, and it did with some, but like to see how so many people turned on each other. And
Oh yeah.
I remember like you shouldn't be partying, but I also remember like people making lists of all the people that were partying just to turn in, and it's like
Yeah.
make your own decisions, and you know, trying to punish others because you're not happy. You know, it's just really, it really hurt me to see how people just
Took that extra step that was so unnecessary.
yeah, and made it a
Got
thing
so
of hate.
divided.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Over
so
something
much
where we should have
division.
like woken up and been like, oh my gosh, we need to help each other like beat this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
instead it's I want to take down everyone that I can while this is going on.
Or I
Right.
don't care about this. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna do my own thing. It doesn't matter. It's not real. Which
Yeah.
is not true, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Something that like killed me during quarantine like the most, which I'm still like have to work on, was like seeing everyone else upset and like for me personally, like I take on everyone, like I'm an empath, like I take on everyone's emotions, and that I've just always been like that, and like I can't help it. But like especially during quarantine, like seeing everyone just like kind of in the same state that like everyone is in, and like the fact that like I wasn't feeling okay, and knowing that people were feeling what I was feeling like just made me feel like
Even worse.
worse, because I just like if someone else doesn't feel okay, like I feel like the responsibility to like fix it.
Yeah.
But in this situation, I literally have no control, and like when I don't have control or I can't like fix anything, like
Yes.
I just
Even worse.
it's freaky because you can't do anything,
Yeah.
and like you just feel helpless, and I felt like really helpless during quarantine because I just wanted to like fix things, but I couldn't.
can't.
Yeah.
Me too.
That was mostly where my mental health stuff came from.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we switch it kind of like what you're saying, but like to more anxiety driven mental health?
Ooh.
The worst anxiety.
Because I think that
Lord.
kind of has to do with like
Well, they're all intertwined. you
yeah,
know?
Yeah.
being anxious at all during the past year.
Oh
think-
yeah.
I think what mine kind of derived from was like that control factor.
Mm.
And I think just coming from like a broken household too in quarantine is really not fun.
Mm.
So that kind of added to that as well. In addition, just trying to like delineate what you want to do with your life, especially like in an upcoming semester where you don't really know what you're going to do, and just a ton of other factors. Biological too. I've had anxiety, I think, for my whole life, but it was just exploded this year, like for some reason.
Yeah, I
Pers-
definitely feel that.
So
Yeah. Personally, for me, like, when I'm in my good periods, it's really easy for me to make friends, but, like, I really was not doing so well with anxiety, and, like, when I get anxious, it affects every aspect of my life, and I think with friends, because I didn't love myself, it was hard for me to be myself around friends, and so it's, like, who am I, like, how do I turn myself into something that I'm not, and every time I'd hang out with a friend, I'd just be, like, constantly anxious with everything I said and just trying to seem normal, you know, and that was like something I still struggle with. Just like, I think it all roots down to like, it all comes down to like loving yourself, but like that caused me a lot of anxiety this past year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I just found myself like, I don't even know where it came from. I think it was just like being locked down and just like sometimes like depression or like anything, like when you're feeling sad, you can just reverse into a different like form and just explode anxiety into you. So like I was just experiencing like really, really bad panic attacks, and like I haven't gotten those for so long, and like even like last week I was driving and I had to pull over because like I couldn't breathe. I just like could
Oh my
not breathe,
gosh.
and literally no reason. That's the thing. Like it just comes out of nowhere.
Okay, I've never had a panic attack personally.
Oh, that's the
So,
worst.
if you'd like to explain a panic attack, I would like to understand more about it.
I would like that.
Have we
That's
all
it.
have panic attacks?
It-
You
I-
had she used to have seizures.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
they
Teal
were so
had
bad.
quite the journey with that.
It's just kind of like, for me, my body just seizes up and I can't move. And I feel like with anxiety, the reason I can't move is because I'm thinking of so many things at once. And my body physically doesn't know how to process with it. So it just
Okay.
shuts everything down until I can work through all of my thoughts.
Yeah.
So for me, I just have to turn all the lights off, typically cover myself in a giant blanket.
Oh wow.
And that works for me getting rid of them, but I just have to eliminate all sort of stimulation
Mm-hmm.
and
Just
then
go
just
blank.
focus on that. My therapist has another good thing. It's like it works with the 5 senses, so you just kind of go through all of your senses and name something. 5 of them you're experiencing in that moment, so it just kind of focuses everything. But it only gets that bad if I don't actually pay attention to it. So I've been a lot better about
You
that.
let it build up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
What are like, take us through the steps of like,
Oh.
like, do you know you're about to get a panic attack, or does it just kind of come out of nowhere?
Well, that's the thing for me. It's more like I won't be doing anything. Like I'll be literally sitting doing nothing.
Okay, so
Which
you're
was,
not
like-
like overly like overdoing anything. Like you could just be sitting.
Well, that's the thing. Like it'll be stemmed from something like maybe 2 minutes ago or like earlier in
Okay.
the day or like I can like track it back like to
From
something.
when
The
it started.
trigger.
A trigger, yeah.
yes.
And or it can be like a
Interesting.
trigger and I'll get it and be like, why did I just have
Maybe
a
it's
panic
like a
attack?
trigger.
But I'm like, oh, it's because someone said this or
And it's
someone
kind of been
said
building
this.
up like
Yeah.
slowly,
But it'll be building up throughout the day, but then like
and you won't really
a
notice.
split second it'll just like
It just takes one thing to just set the whole thing off,
Yeah.
and then you just
Okay.
go into like a frenzy of like, oh, just like absolute.
yeah. And I don't know if like
I
for
haven't
you
had
guys,
one in
like
a
if
while.
you I haven't had a bad one in a while.
I haven't either.
I don't know for you guys if it's different
I
for
don't
you,
know
but
how.
like having panic attacks and anxiety attacks, like I know there's I get like 2 different kinds. Like
yeah.
there's one
Yes.
that's like all physical, like my body starts like shaking
Yeah.
and I like can't stop and I like hyperventilate.
yes.
And there's one that's more like of a mental game where like I like my throat closes up. I don't know. I've like it's so bizarre. Like I had to go to like an ear, nose, and throat doctor because I thought that I had like something wrong with my throat, but they're like, nope, it's just anxiety. And I was like,
Just
Wow.
closes up.
yeah,
yeah,
it doesn't.
bad insomnia too.
Oh yeah, I don't sleep.
Just throwing that out there.
Sorry, just a casual. Yeah,
Same.
I'm
I-
fine.
I'd like to talk about like medication because for me,
Ooh.
like, I know like Grace can relate. Like, it's so hard finding the right thing that works for you if that's the path you want to go on, and it's really hard because you almost it causes more anxiety to go on like anxiety medication, or at least it did for me. And it's like, I know something I struggled with is, do I want to keep going through this process and find the right one, or do I want to just quit because I don't know if the next one's going to be the right one and I could go through something. You know, if you're on the wrong medication for you, it can just make things worse in a
Yeah,
way.
you had a really tough time last semester. I remember.
Yeah, but I'm finally like, I found some medication that makes my anxiety a little less. But the one thing is, I had a couple medications that make you numb, and what I realized is like a little bit of anxiety is good.
It is
Because-
good. Makes you feel human.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and even though it's so hard, you need to feel like
Something.
you don't want to be numb.
For
you
sure.
know?
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
just need to feel it in the moment, because otherwise it's gonna build up and then it'll explode.
It's okay to have feelings,
Right.
Yeah.
just not too many of like one thing at once.
Right.
Yeah. I actually like this is in a weird sick way. Like I love having like a little anxiety back because like last semester like I was on like 2-3 different medications too from the wrong psychiatrist that like literally made me at one point go to the hospital because I drank too much caffeine and then
Yeah.
because it made me so tired that I slept like all day every day
Oh yeah.
and it just made me completely numbed out
remember
like it was so terrible.
And you were just so sad.
I was so sad. Yeah, I'm still like working on everything, but like it's worlds better from like
That's good.
what it was. But it's crazy how much it can affect you. Like taking something, like putting something into your body that affects like
Your brain.
Your mind.
your mind and your neurons. I don't know if that's right, Teal, but
Yes.
Well,
Okay. That works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teal's a neuroscientist.
Yeah. But I think, like, even for you, Ella, I can tell a difference in you, like,
Oh, for sure.
just from seeing you, whenever I saw you a few days ago, like, compared to last semester, like, you're such a different person, but not, like, in a bad way. Like, you're back to, like, Ella.
Yeah.
Like, last semester, it was kind of, like, a different version of Ella, and I think that's why we were all just, like, really worried about you.
Yeah.
But now, like, you're back, and,
Yeah.
like, that makes us all really happy.
Happy to be back.
I
Yeah.
love all versions of you, but I can tell you're most happy.
We could tell you were almost numb,
I don't
in
know.
a way.
Yeah, you told us, like, you don't feel
You didn't feel anything. And it
Right.
was, once you said that, it was kind of like, yeah, I can kind of tell that, like...
Yeah.
So-
I know, and that's what's so hard is, like, I think that, because I've been in y'all's shoes before, it's like...
Like, watching
you-
someone.
Yeah, and sometimes there's no way, like, you can help, because it's like...
Honestly,
you
yeah,
know?
if they can't help, like, if you can't help them see what's going on, like, sometimes there's nothing else you can do. Or, like, a person who's, like, addicted to, like, something, if they don't want to make, like, the change to fix themselves, then, like, there's nothing you can do. And, like, if you can't open someone's eyes, like, sometimes they just have to, like, figure it out for themselves and, like, get on the right, like,
Yeah.
path.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
But yeah, I definitely noticed a difference. Like, I was
And it's a really positive
very,
one.
very
Thank
positive.
you.
It's just so scary how much, like...
How much it can affect you.
Yeah.
Because we saw you freshman year, and
Yeah.
then we saw you last semester, and it was just
Two completely different people.
Yeah.
It's weird how that medications can change your
can
personality
have so
and
much
behavior.
power over you.
That's
Yeah.
terrifying.
It's scary, guys. But
Yes.
I guess I would just like to say, like, for people that are considering maybe starting, like, it can make a world of a difference in a negative way, but it can also make a world of a difference in a positive way.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I was telling Elle about this, but there's something I took called Gene Sight, and instead of, like, shooting in the dark looking for a medication,
Ooh, that's
like,
cool.
you literally get a swab on your cheek,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called Gene Sight, and then you put it in a little package, and they send it out to a lab, and then you get back, like, so much information about, like, what processes well in your liver, what processes well with like norepinephrine or
That's
serotonin
really cool.
and stuff, and like I found out I was like deficient in like 3 out of like the 8
Damn.
areas in something.
That's so cool.
But it's
I
so
wanna do
cool.
that.
I've shipped them in my house, actually. With
Oh,
They are?
cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
I'll just
Yeah.
swab
But like
myself and
instead
take it
of
to the
like
lab.
taking a shot in the dark, because that's what I was doing.
Because
Like,
that can hurt you a lot.
it
if
can
it's not
hurt
the
you.
right-
And I was gonna
Yeah,
go on a
it's really
medication
cool.
that was on like the no list from my last psychiatrist.
Oh, no.
It literally says like do not
Do
take.
not take.
Huh.
So like that would have been another just terrible.
Wow.
Well,
journey.
and then
That's
I've never taken medication, but like from talking to both of you, it's like a big process to get on and off.
Oh
of
yeah,
any
the side
medic-
effects are
Like
absolutely terrible.
it's
Yeah.
multiple months, like
Yeah.
for
Well,
something.
I was talking to Tila about this earlier. It's like you're on an antidepressant medication, and then they're like, side effects in the beginning may cause depression.
May cause
It's like-
suicidal thoughts and
What?
depression. Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to be
A
fixing
little
this?
contradicting.
Yeah.
I remember learning
Yeah.
about that in my intro to neuro class, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, that is not
That doesn't
right."
really. Yeah.
So I
sound
guess
right.
being patient and giving it time, that's the biggest thing. It takes like 4 to 6 weeks, if not longer, to
For
adjust
something
to
to-
something.
Yeah. Well, people will say like, "Oh, it'll take 2 weeks for you to notice the difference," but like for me, it's like at least a month.
Yeah.
Because like, how are you actually gonna know? Like,
That's really hard too, though, to like wait through all of that.
yeah,
it
like it's a
is.
waiting game, but like you just gotta trust the process. Like that's what I was telling myself a lot.
Yeah.
Would
Good.
you say it's been worth it for you, Grace?
It has. I think I'm on a better journey now with what I'm on now.
You
I
have to get through the rough stuff first. to,
Yeah,
like-
I mean, I went through like a really, really tough time like last semester. Like probably felt the worst I ever have in my life. Like just through the medications I was on, and like I would say that you just have to keep trying until you find the right one because it can make a world of a difference. But what you said before, like if you're on the wrong ones, like it can just really.
Well, would you say it's been worth it, or
I
a
would
little
say
different?
where I am now, like, so I used to have really bad insomnia, and like now I can go to sleep, and that's a big deal. Like, I hope you find that.
I can
And-
sleep better too. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also like I used to have crippling anxiety, which I think we've all touched on. But I had like I couldn't do anything when I was anxious. I couldn't study. I couldn't make music.
Yeah.
And now I'm in a place where I feel the anxiety, I feel the depression still, but I also know that I can still do things with it. And I think that sometimes it takes a combination. So I'm on 2 different medications, and I do feel like it has helped me.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's not going to completely go away, you know?
Yeah.
But what it does is it makes it more, like, bearable and livable. And, like,
Yeah.
you could make it your new normal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the good thing.
That's good.
But, yeah. Fun times.
Fun times.
Fun.
No, they're not.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well that was such like a good talk.
Yes.
Yes.
We can go ahead and wrap it up, but
Okay.
That was a pretty long one.
Can we have like
Yeah.
outro music?
yeah, well I'll add
She
it in
has
later.
her
Oh,
outro
I have to edit
music.
it.
Oh.
But thank you for talking with me
Thank
about
you.
mental
Thank
health.
you.
This is the only time Cammy
This-
ever talks to me.
Shut
She
up,
puts
shut
the mic in my face and says, "This is it."
Teal love me.
I feel like this is a really bonding moment too.
I know.
Like, yeah.
I like this.
No, this is a really good topic too, I feel like, to talk about.
It's so
Yeah.
relevant. Like
Mhm.
literally
We've
so
all
relevant.
experienced it. I'm sure a lot of your
Yeah.
listeners too.
Yeah.
It should be talked about
If
If
more.
you go to Belmont,
Yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can use
For
that.
Like those
Everyone.
indie artists.
Everyone. I think just any college student.
Any
or just
college
anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally
Yeah.
anyone.
Literally
I think
anyone.
deals with mental
Anything.
problems in some
Because no one's
way or another.
perfect.
Yeah, no one's
Yes.
perfect, and everyone
Everyone's
tries
a little
to hide
on the
it.
spectrum.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know,
I
it is a
so good at
spectrum.
hiding.
Well, okay. Thank you for talking with me. All of you. I love you all.
I love
all of
you
too,
guys.
Cammy.
Okay. And then for everyone listening, thank you so much for listening. I love all of you too. And
We love you.
We
we
love
love
you
you and we
guys.
love your mental health.
We love mental
it.
health.
I love
You-
your brains.
We love brains.
Yes.
And love mental
I
You
health.
can get
love
through
brains.
anything.
If you ever want me to look at yours, I'll do it.
Yes.
Ew. I
No.
hated that.
No,
Yeah,
no.
But
we'll delete
yeah,
that.
we all love you and you can get through anything.
Trust the
And
process.
Trust the
Trust
process.
the process.
And I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.